Okay. Hello. Checking everything's there. The last time I did this, I forgot to capture the video. So I need to try and get my PB recorded. Hopefully we can get this time again. Let me know if there's any problems with the sound or anything like that. Sending out a tweet. Cool, let's do this. Ah, hello. How are you doing this evening? You ready for me to get my PB back? No pressure, right? Okay. There we go. Always concentrate so much with the initial timer. Holding down that forward. I should see if I can get my inputs on the screen so you guys can see it. That'll be fun. Ah, I found the hidden prog channel. I love that channel. Ooh. There's a bit of some frame drops there. Oh, missed it. Come here, you. Well, I might fit in a few runs this tonight, so we'll see how it goes. Oh. I think I might have changed my screen resolution. Looks really strange. No game sound. Wonder if I can find a place to try and turn it on. I'll try and do that in a minute. Oh, or I could start the run again. I haven't got very far. You're missing out on the prog. Oh, let's see if we can fix it. Let's default that. Let me know if you can hear it. Got anything? Yeah. Okay, good. You can still hear my voice. I'm not sure what was different about that. That one didn't feel PB anyway, it's fine. Okay. Do. Oh, I missed it. That's why I normally concentrate so hard.
For a living. That is to say that ever since he returned from Korea, after having served with the armed forces, he had been working as a private investigator in Montreal. William Hamilton, a rich industrialist, had gotten in touch with him regarding a simple vandalism issue. Nothing to write home about. Not worth hiring a private eye either, just so he can drive for hours on rough roads. But that's how it had always been. The client pays, Carl get...
We'll get that, we'll get that.
Sought information for a living. That is to say that ever since he returned from Korea, after having served with the armed forces, he had been working as a private investigator in Montreal. William Hamilton, a rich industrialist, had gotten in touch with him regarding a simple vandalism issue. Nothing to write home about. Not worth hiring a private eye either, just so he can drive for hours on rough roads. But that's how it had always been. The client pays, Carl gets it done.
Okay.
They had set up to meet at the general store, his client's business. Well, actually, the entire village had William Hamilton's name written all over it.
Oh, I couldn't get it. Oh, no, there it is. Amazing prog radio.
When the roads were bad, muddy, or snowed in, it was customary around these parts to close them off. But it was also customary to ignore those signs entirely.
That was the
and
worst
drive
parking job ever. Ah, that's better. Game is running better as well. That's very strange. Yes. Oh, worst time to get an itchy nose.
Hamilton never mentioned a road blocking barrier.
Okay.
Why was it needed here in the back of Beyond? That would, however, be a mystery for another day. Carl had waited long enough for someone to come and race him. Hamilton is waiting for Carl in the general store. It was time for him to get down to business. William Hamilton enjoyed a lavish country house built in the very heart of the northern forests, not too far from here. The local populace was divided when it came to the affluent man. Some saw a wealthy philanthropist dedicated to improving the region's economy. Others, an aging Englishman who would do anything to further his fortunes. And those ones hated him enough to go on about scheming against him. Hamilton had recently acquired a few local businesses, but the last straw was the reopening of a mine, which gave rise to a wave of protests and threats from the Cree people. Given these circumstances, Carl reckoned that a good number of people must be feeling compelled to oppose Hamilton in one way or another. So far, only the industrialist's house had been a target, but soon enough, Carl thought, the target would become the man himself.
Such a long pause. A few hours.
Carl needed to get out of there. The cold and the pain required urgent care.
In case you're wondering. Run, everybody! Whoa. This way.
The driver had taken off. It was still best to check it out and leave nothing to chance. Carl needed help.
Okay. Back up. There we go.
This deep in the country, his last hope was to find an abandoned garage or a farm by the roadside. His life depended on it.
It's so cool. Change.
Even better than he had hoped. Carl Faubert
Consumable,
had
yes.
succeeded once more and was now on his way to new adventures.
I usually fumble in the menus, so that was good. I think the game likes to mess with me. Oh, come here. There we go. Oh, totally didn't. Did I? Was that right? Oh, yeah. I saved some time. Small amount. Not a golden split. But I completely messed up that. Visibility is poor today.
Spread out on a few acres of untouched forest, bellowing caribou, everlasting snow, and undefiled lakes. The Manistan region was no tourist hub. It was said to have been populated for millennia by Cree people, and ever since the industrial era, by the metal mining industry. The truck was running on fumes. Good thing that the general store was close by.
Loading screen.
Carl had no trouble recognizing his employer. He had been killed. There was no need to be a detective to figure that out.
even
But
know if I
only
need
a
them.
detective could have noticed that the killer had to have been very close. That the fatal blow had been given before the victim even realized.
Try and not get that at some point. I beat the wolves.
Maintaining his composure, Carl recalled something from his military training. Wolves always stay away from populated areas. Wait, was it about bears?
And don't forget the gun.
The murder was it. What was that doing there, Carl wondered. Hamilton must have been determined to keep some information secret to post this key. Shame he got unlucky. Everything made sense now. Poor Hamilton's denunciation was interrupted, and he figured it would be best to lock everything up and send the key to his correspondent, who would receive the box later on. Clever, but not enough.
Oh, that's good.
That's what happens to ordinary people playing spy. Carl didn't know where to go, but he had to find help, find a way to contact authorities. He had to search the village.
Okay, let's see.
Carl felt that the store and its surroundings still held their secrets, and he didn't like to miss out. That had to be the worst parking job ever. Who was Carl to judge, though? It may be customary to park like that around these parts, or not.
That had to be the worst parking job ever.
All of a sudden, Carl felt like he was pulled inside a world of dreams, a cold, unknown dimension. Somehow, self-control was slipping from his grasp. What could these engraved numbers mean? A fresh path suddenly appeared before Carl.
Not quite as fast as last time.
Carl had that feeling you get when you immerse your frozen hands in hot water. What happened? Now at least he knew who the unfortunate man
a little bit too close to that car. I'm gonna have to back up.
Gilles Lachance, the general store's manager himself.
Huh? Slightly annoying.
The air was freezing, right down to the bone.
Yep.
The otherworldly ice had struck again. The woman's hopes and dreams were frozen in eternity. Something was hidden under the stairs.
Yep.
The man grabbed his rifle. Carl felt a sense of dread in him.
Wait a couple seconds here. Okay.
Perhaps their spousal relationship had been cooling down lately. It seemed like secrecy was commonplace in this house. The vision's veil was lifted, and he was back to reality.
Back up.
A reality in which Giselle, Jill's loving spouse, was motionless, frozen in ice.
Run, run, run. There we go. Okay. Woo. Oh, that was very close. My goodness.
Carl felt that the store and its surroundings still held their secrets, and he didn't like
The driving
this out.
is difficult in this. It's pretty good going. Right, so we want to park up here, round about here I'd say. Might be a bit far. Okay. Loading. Yeah, that was pretty good. Get the key.
In spite of
Wait for the
Dr.
audio.
Beaupre's goodwill, the place didn't look much like a physician's office. It could easily
Grab
be
this as soon as I
mistaken
can.
for a sewing shop. The good
Okay.
doctor, flanked by his beautiful spouse. Pure happiness, captured on cardstock. Carl
straight towards the
recognized
truck.
this woman's soulful eyes. Was it Dr. Beaupre who had hit him head-on at the village border?
That was a good time too. I'll spin out. Okay. So this is a trick. Slow down, slow down. Oh no. Get that one. Oh, well, don't tell me to stop. Just get as close to the door. Turn the vehicle around. Okay, sort out. Screw my camera down.
The
Okay.
place looked more like a pigsty than a house.
Caribou?
A heavy stench of curdled milk,
Okay.
cheap alcohol, and boiled cauliflower filled the air.
Alright. Around here. Rest of the time. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, that's a bad road. Come on, come on. You can do it. Come on, Chevy. Right. Whew.
Carl held in his hand some awful sugar
It's
alcohol,
stuck.
but rather than drink it, he told himself it could be useful. He only had to be
Don't
ready.
spin out. Ah, I can feel that. Oh, wrecked. Wrecked it. If I can't get that time back, that might The prog is a strange loop. It's some kind of bug where I make the radio, where I break the radio. I like to think it's a hidden track, but that's probably not true. Alright, and saving and load checkpoint. Turn around. Oh, where are you?
Si tu veux du lait chaud, parce que t'es habillé comme un gars de la ville, je dirais pas non à une bonne bouteille de caribou. Puis tu pigeras ce que tu voudras parmi
I
mes
will give you
clés.
caribou.
Ah, quand on cherche, on trouve. Parce que je t'aime bien, à cette heure, je vais te dire quelque chose. Tu fais bien de prendre ma pénis. Parce que par là-bas, tu vas rencontrer le vrai froid. Un froid qui glace comme t'en as jamais
Give me the
connu dans
coat.
ta vie.
Oh, I think I was doing that wrong.
The Polaroid,
Yeah, I was.
Carl's long-standing and faithful ally, had seen his share of husbands caught red-handed
I
cheating.
think I talked to him and then
There's
like,
always something out there waiting to be
At some
snapped
time.
away.
I did some very good driving and then I did some very bad driving. Bit of a shame.
Health is what mattered most, and the old man's coat made sure of that. However, Carl still felt that he would miss out on precious knowledge if he left this place.
Go! Whoa! That was scary. Didn't break the radio. No, I think the prog is gone. Plus 10 seconds in my previous segment. I'm sure that was the I did the load saving. Okay. I feel like there must be a quicker way to do that. Initiate. Okay. And the fire. Door first. It's all about looking in the right place. So we want to look at this bucket up here now. Wait for a red hand. There it is. Gonna throw some paper in. Now we open the door. And now we open the door again. 'Cause that was
Something
just the
very
dream world.
important must have been in there for the man to take such time and effort to hide it. But Carl didn't know how to
And
reach
that's
it.
that.
Carl hadn't lived up to his good finder reputation. He still hadn't found any of the wealth contained in Lamotte's lands.
So it's still green. I'd love to be able to turn the truck around. Ice cave isn't too far away. It's always closer than I think. It's coming up. Oh, did not mean to park in the tree.
Luckily, he had the coat to protect him from the biting cold. The cold seemed to be more brutal here than anywhere else. It seeped into bones and into every breath to get to the heart until it stopped. Carl needed to be dressed in warm clothes to survive.
And some hardware, which is here. Spook the wolf. Hello. Oh, hello.
Seems like the elements showed mercy to those nice and solid-looking planks.
So we want to get to the right side of this body. I tried to go straight forward last time and got a bit stuck.
Another instance of this magic ice. What was this one doing, lying on the ground, so afraid? The plot thickened like water into ice. He had been running in fear from something creeping towards him, against which he couldn't do anything, only to end up like this, petrified and cold.
Set the board going first.
It seemed as though Régin had been ready to take up arms and slay people like Hamilton. Could he have committed murder for his cause? Who could have gotten killed in front of his very eyes?
Now this wolf is a nuisance if you don't shoot it, so...
He was worried about a presence around.
Then just try and get it. Set up some dynamite. Thought that wasn't done then. Oh, get back, get back. Oh, that was nearly the death of me, guys. I went slightly late, but I was being careful.
No stone can withstand the force of dynamite.
Try just jumping off there. I could probably try that at some point. Now I need to find the truck. Pretty good. So drive to the ice wall now. I wonder if I could ever just do a run and not look at the time before we go. It's too interesting. That's pretty distracting. Road is so dark. I did get that in my last run. That's pretty good. Can't get it in one go, which is really nice. Bit of a break in a second. Cutscene. There we go.
Carl knew why he was suddenly shivering. He was going back to the realm of visions. Carl had no issue recognizing the spirit-like figures, but he couldn't figure out what they wanted from him. The phantom, freed of reality's shackles, vanished in the forest. Earlier, Carl had witnessed a tragedy that befell it. Another phantom disappeared in the wilderness. Carl had seen what happened to it too. A third phantom gently faded away. Carl noticed that as the cursed villagers finally left reality, he could feel a sense of unburdening exuding from them in an almost intimate way. The last phantom, lost in solitude up until now, joined the others in the forest's darkness, free at last to enjoy an eternal, well-deserved slumber. Carl was only beginning to understand the horror which had struck his village. He understood that the dead were piling up and that he couldn't help them by himself. The road was clear for him. He needed to push further north, and fast, to find
difficult
help.
part. It's so dark. If you play this casually, this is really fun with the snowmobile. Come on. Feels like he's running really slowly.
Another diary. Carl felt like someone was trying to communicate with him. Or was it simply the result of happenstance?
I like to do the fire first and then look at the diary.
Carl had found what he was looking for. He needed to get back on the road.
Heat. But he walks pretty slow, so. Straight over here. Looking for a bit in the river.
It was so cold. Already Carl did not feel his toes anymore.
I think I went slightly off course. Yeah, I did. Should have gone more to the right. Hopefully I won't get killed by cold. bit's pretty scary. Should be near. Is it? Yes, is it? This is it. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, that was alright. I'm just freezing. You can do it, Carl. Come on, buddy. Good time. Yeah, come on,
Cold turned into pain. Carl needed to find someplace warm.
buddy. You got this.
Carl felt the strong pull of a vision overcome him.
You got this. Okay.
A young woman. It looked like a simple hunting accident. There was Hamilton. Carl recognized him.
I'll try not to look at my time now. Just...
A major hunting accident.
Carl is
The
so
doctor
cold.
examined the young woman.
Doing the fire before the diary really, really helps. At least the visual
The
effects.
death couldn't be overturned. She was dead. It was not the type of body you buried in a big ceremony in the village graveyard. It had to be hidden. No one could know about this. The best way to do that was to have a simple-minded man bury the poor girl. Lamotte, the mechanic. The doctor denied the unfair death of the young woman, but Hamilton had him in his grip. Hamilton knew all of the poet's secrets and wouldn't hesitate to reveal them. I know all about your crimes, you little communist. You know mine. What a sordid affair.
Ooh, some coke.
Carl understood the ins and outs of the affair. A woman had been killed in an unfair accident, and a young warrior had damned himself to avenge her.
Great, here we go. Just gotta get the gun out.
But Hamilton, the one responsible, had already been killed, and so the beast could not quench its thirst for vengeance. And now, recklessly, Carl had pulled the bolt from the beast's heart. A beast who was but a young free man lost without his fiancée, and who had,
Come, Wendigo.
out of hatred, become Wendigo.
Oh, blacking out. Okay. Probably shouldn't have turned around, but got him. Try save time. Kill the birds. Can we ignore this guy? Can we ignore this guy? Probably not gonna ignore this guy. One behind me. Yeah, I knew he was gonna be behind me. Alright, come on. Let's keep going. Don't know if I'm talking to myself or Carl. Maybe both. Alright, so there's one on my tail. So let's keep going. Alright, nearly there. Come on, Carl, you got this. You got this, buddy. You're a good shot, Carl. You don't need to fear. That's it. Alright. Okay.
The narrow passage sheltered him, but for how long?
Yeah, that's it. Slide. Okay. Nearly there, guys. Nearly there. What do we think the time's gonna be? Okay. Hoping for a PB anyway. Okay, let's go. Gotta open this. Okay. And it's time when I get in the boat. Oh, that's a bit slow. And time. Okay. (40 minutes 50). Whew.
When you disappeared, so did Purity. I would defend Purity against the winds, the tides, against ice and blizzard.
Okay, so that was pretty good.
Could it be that all this was but a story of justice and vengeance? The soulful doctor,
Thank you very much.
avenging his fiancée's unjust death by avenging this young woman as though she was his lover. Are these passionate feelings not precisely the
got
kind
some
of
seconds to
feelings
shave
that
off.
could cause a storm, petrify people deep inside, create monsters?
There's got to be some more skips as well. Sure. Wow, thank you for watching. Might attempt another one, but we'll see. We shall see. Probably have a little bit of a break first. Right, thank you guys. 40 minutes 50.